Note on the windshield. Someone has parked so close to your car that you can't get out of your parking space, or so close to the driver's side that you had to climb in through the passenger's side of the car. Rude parking behavior is nearly as provoking as rude driving behavior and almost as widespread. The difference is that you can leave a note for a rude parker and try to correct her behavior. Introduction. Having your car blocked or your rightful parking place usurped can be infuriating. You may want to leave a nasty note just to blow off steam. A higher purpose, though, would be to leave a constructive note to let the person know the consequences of his actions and, with luck, to keep him from doing it again. Spend a moment thinking about who your reader might be. Consider how you would like to be addressed if you were the one parking rogue. Not much time needs to be spent in brainstorming or organizing a quick note like this. However, if you let your reader know exactly how she's inconvenienced you and why she should stop, she will likely be more receptive to your message. As you draft, bear in mind that your tone should be civil no matter how frustrated or angry you may be. Selfish parking behavior is far more likely to be the result of thoughtlessness than of pure evil. The person who blocked your car may have been late for a meeting or perhaps upset by the behavior of some other rude driver. If you really lose it when you're writing the note, take a moment to revise and rewrite it. Do let the driver know exactly what he has done that's caused a problem for you. Do tell the driver exactly what the consequences are of his behavior. Don't assume that he must know how badly he's inconvenienced you. Explain it to him calmly and rationally. Do ask him to stop. Do focus on solving the problem rather than venting your anger. Don't use profanity. It's not constructive. Although it might feel good in the moment, using profanity will ultimately undermine your position. No matter how angry or frustrated you are, take the high road. Don't use sarcasm. The person may have done something really stupid, and it might feel good to blow off steam by insulting her, but you're guaranteeing not to get a good result if you do so. Don't engage in personal abuse or name-calling. Don't make any threats, with the exception of appropriate and legal actions that you are actually prepared to take. For instance, if someone persistently parks in a spot that's officially designated for you, you're within your rights to tell him that the next time it happens, you'll have his car towed. Not like this. To the moron in the Mazda. Nice alliteration, but not likely to encourage cooperation. It doesn't take much intelligence to see that when you park here, I can't get out, does it? This kind of personal insult may be gratifying in the moment, but it's bound to make the other driver mad and uncooperative. Next time, maybe I'll just go ahead and back into your door. Maybe you'll get the point then. Would it be too terribly difficult for you to pull up about 10 feet and park there so I can get my car out? Snide, sarcastic comments like this aren't going to win you any cooperation. This is a clear and very unconstructive threat. Do you really mean that you're going to hit her car on purpose? Really? This kind of threat will make the offending parker angry and defensive. And what if someone does hit her car and do some damage? You've just provided written evidence, making you the first suspect. Like this. Hi. I live directly across the street, and as you can see, my driveway is parallel to where you're parked. I'm sure you didn't think of this, but when you park here, it's extremely difficult for me to get out of my driveway without backing into you. In the future, could you please pull up about 10 feet when you park? I really don't want to back into your car. Thanks. Steve Tanner. This is a calm and courteous way of letting the parker know that his behavior is having a negative impact on you. Also, signing your note puts a face, or at least a name, behind the complaint and keeps things above board. It also might make the reader take your complaint more seriously. Note to recover lost property. You think you left your watch at the gym. You come back from the laundromat and discover there's a pillowcase missing. Your favorite pen has disappeared at work. It can be really painful to lose something you care about. Your best bet is to write a note that will motivate people to have a look around and return the missing item to you. Introduction. The purpose behind a note to recover lost property is self-explanatory. You want to let people know you've lost something and motivate them to give it back to you. No matter how frustrated or upset you may be, keep your focus on recovering your property, not venting about the party who may or may not have carried it off. As you write, consider your readers, how they might feel reading your note and what might motivate them to help you. As you write your draft, pay attention to your tone. Don't show anger, and don't make people defensive. Make an earnest appeal for their help. Ask someone else to check your draft and provide feedback. Revise to ensure your note is complete and your tone is friendly and cooperative. Do be specific about what it is you lost and where and when you think you lost it. Do mention whatever special value or importance the item has for you. Do focus on recovering the object, not on scolding or punishing the person who may have taken it. Do use formatting to help you. Give your note or flyer a headline and then put important words in bold. Do offer a reward if you can. Do remember to sign your note if it's appropriate to do so, and to provide your contact information if necessary. Do thank people for their help. Don't assume that the missing item was stolen. Instead, write your note in the spirit of cooperation and assume someone has taken it by mistake. If it was really stolen, you're unlikely to get it back anyway. Don't express anger or blame in your note. You may be upset that you've lost the item, but writing a nasty note is the quickest way to ensure that people won't cooperate with you to recover it. Don't go on too long. Think from the point of view of your readers, though. What do they need to know in order to help you? Keep the message brief, accurate, and concise. Not like this. To whoever walked off with my red folders. Last night when I left the office, there was a stack of red folders sitting on top of my file cabinet. I ordered those on purpose because I need them for packets for the board meeting tonight. Calm down. Stop shouting. These were a special order from Pendaflex, and I can't just go out and buy more. This morning when I walked in, they were gone, and Jill has no idea what happened to them. The writer, whoever he is going on too long. He needs to take a breath and organize this note rather than just venting. If you're the person who walked off with my folders, kindly return them to my office immediately. And in the future, you might learn to order your own supplies instead of stealing other people's. Whoa. Using the word steal isn't going to motivate people to help out. Also, this note is nasty and angry. No one is going to want to help this person. And who is this person anyway? He's forgotten to sign his note. Like this. Missing red folders. Jim used a good headline. You don't even have to read the note to know what the problem is. A stack of red folders disappeared from my office last night or this morning. I need those folders for the packets for tonight's board meeting. The bold-faced type on tonight's board meeting draws the reader's attention to some important information without shouting about it. Has anyone seen them? Put them away for safekeeping? Please let me know. Jim assumes the best about his readers rather than assuming they're thieves. Thanks for your help. Jim. Jim thanks his readers, capping off a very pleasant note. People will be motivated to help him. Since Jim signed the flyer, readers will know where to return the folders. Finding a lost animal. If you're in the sad position of finding your pet missing, a smart thing to do is make flyers and post them around your neighborhood, or go door to door to hand them out. Describe the pet as accurately as possible and put a picture of him on the flyer. Note where and when the pet was last seen. Be sure to note if your pet answers to his name and list any other distinguishing characteristics. If you can offer a reward, say so. And don't forget your phone number or email address. For sample lost pet notices, visit www.howtowriteanything.com. Classified ad and online auction listing. There are all kinds of ads, from traditional newspaper ads to online classifieds to auction listings on eBay. Print ads generally limit the amount of text you can get for your money. Online ads are also limited by the attention span of the reader. In either case, you'll want to write punchy, efficient copy that will draw the attention of potential buyers. Never write an advertisement which you wouldn't want your family to read. You wouldn't tell lies to your own wife? Don't tell them to mine. David Ogilvy, British advertising executive. Introduction. The purpose of a classified ad or auction listing is to capture the interest of people scanning a newspaper or website and to motivate them to contact you. An ad is a sales tool, so remember that your purpose is to motivate rather than to provide an exhaustive description of the item you're trying to sell or rent. Your readers may be in desperate need of just the thing you're offering, but it's smarter to assume that they have a number of attractive choices and focus on attracting them to your offering. Think from the point of view of your readers as you brainstorm. Make a list of all the attributes of the item you're offering, and then narrow the list down to what would make potential buyers want to pursue it. There are a number of ways to organize a classified ad or auction listing. The model outline provides one you can adapt. Your initial draft will likely be too long. Take a break and come back to the draft with a fresh eye. You'll find it much easier to tighten the copy when you go to revise it. Be sure your ad is as concise and punchy as possible and that it's free from typos and other errors. Model outline. A classified ad or auction listing has to say a lot in a short space. Headline. Write a strong headline to catch the reader's attention. Basic information. Provide identifying information: what kind, how big, what color, how old, and so on. Special features. Describe special features that set this item or this deal apart from others. Mint condition, collector's edition, ocean view. Contact information. Let readers know how they can reach you. Do lead with a catchy headline. Your headline could make the difference between a potential buyer reading your ad and passing it by. Do catch the reader's eyes with compelling key words. Readers will scan your ad before they read it. Notice what words catch your attention when you're browsing and identify the key words that describe the product, service, or deal you're offering. Do keep your ad brief. Remember, your readers have limited attention and may be browsing through many similar ads. You can provide more details during a phone call or email. A brief ad can also create a sense of urgency that can help motivate the reader to act. Do provide the appropriate contact information. Make sure you supply a phone number where you can be reached easily. If you're not always available, note the best time to reach you. Do mention your location. Potential buyers are more attracted to places closer to them. Do classify your item in the right place. No one's ever going to find it if it's listed under the wrong category. Do proofread your ad even after it's in print or posted on the web. The ad can be useless to you if there's a typo in the phone number or other key information, so you'll want to correct errors ASAP. Don't overuse abbreviations. Some abbreviations are standard, but if your ad is packed with them, readers may be put off or simply confused. Don't be bland. As long as you're running an ad, make the effort to make it attractive to readers. Don't just list the basic attributes and expect buyers to come flocking to you. Don't go on too long. Print ads and some internet ads have word limits. Be aware that your readership will diminish the longer your ad is, so be judicious. Don't let an ad go to print or be posted online without checking it for errors. If you find a newspaper has made an error in a printed ad, ask for it to be corrected immediately. Like this. Multifamily yard sale from kitchenware to computers. Kitchenware / adult and baby clothing / toys and games / DVDs / books / glassware / laptops / auto parts / pet supplies. More. Saturday, June 9th, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., 870 Wilbur Road. Beautiful, fully renovated Spanish style, $799,000. Beautiful 4-bedroom, 3-bath on half-acre lot. Formal dining room. Mountain and city views, hardwood floors, Spanish style throughout. Fully renovated kitchen and baths, new electric, plumbing, tile roof. Move right in. Call David at 310-800-1111. 1967 VW Beetle, $10,000. Totally restored, rebuilt from the bottom up. 2,000 miles on new engine. New paint, tires, everything. Pristine. Must see. Will consider trades. Call Jeff at 434-800-1111. Columbia sailboat, $1,500. 1998 Columbia 22-foot fixed keel sailboat in mint condition. Includes Johnson outboard motor plus 3 new sails, 1 mainsail, 1 roller furling Genoa, 1 storm jib VHF. Ship-to-shore radio. Bottom was painted in October 2012. Boat is located in Galveston Bay in water, rigged and ready to sail. Call Robert at 409-999-0000. Evenings only. Quiet, spacious rental. 3-bedroom / 2-bath townhouse, $2,100 a month. Enclosed garage. Great area. Landscape maintenance, water, electric included. Landlord references. Pets, okay. Call Carrie, 777-800-1111. Craigslist. Craigslist is the most popular of the classified ad sites. The competition on Craigslist can be intense, so write a listing that stands out from the others. Write an enticing headline. A compelling headline is the single most important part of your listing. Getting buyers to click through can be a challenge, so make sure your headline contains information that will motivate people to take a closer look. Describe the item completely and accurately. Have someone else check your listing before you post it to make sure you haven't left anything out. Use bullet points to make your listing easy to scan. People won't read block paragraphs. Include good pictures. Pictures are actually more important than text on Craigslist. A listing with a great description and no pictures, or bad pictures, simply won't generate results. Remember to mention your location. This seems like an obvious point, but many people overlook it. Don't use all caps. It's hard to read a posting written this way. Online auction listing. There are several venues for online auctions, eBay being the most popular. Buyers using eBay have become discriminating and read auction listings carefully, so take care in crafting yours. Do write a catchy title. Use all the available characters to write a title that responds to search terms, such as brand name, size, color, and any other information that might make your item attractive. Vintage, antique, mint condition, etc. Do be thorough in your description of the item. If you leave out important information, shoppers will simply move on to another listing. Do be honest about flaws and defects. Do browse through similar auctions on the site to see what works and what doesn't. Do use formatting to make your text more readable. No one likes to read a big block of text, and online shoppers don't have to. They just click on to the next offering. Use paragraph breaks or bullet points to break up the text and make your auction more easily scannable. Don't create a messy listing. Listings with too many colors, too many fonts, and too many sizes of fonts are annoying and may drive people away. Don't copy the text from other listings word for word. By all means, refer to similar listings as a way of checking yours, but other sellers will not be happy if you just swipe their copy. Don't make inaccurate statements. For instance, don't say an item is rare if there are several others of the same item currently for sale. It makes you look silly and, worse, untrustworthy. Don't rant about bad experiences you may have had with previous buyers. State your payment and shipping policies clearly and concisely, and leave it at that. Nothing scares away buyers like a seller who is already angry, aggrieved, and resentful. For model Craigslist and eBay listings, visit www.howtowriteanything.com. Receipt. You'll need to write a receipt whenever you've accepted money for goods or services you've sold, rented, or leased. A receipt serves as a statement that the transaction is finished and that neither party owes the other anything. You can use a receipt to acknowledge the payment of a deposit and to specify the balance due. If you sell your car or large items at a yard sale, or if you rent out a room or an apartment, you'll need to be able to provide a receipt for those transactions. Introduction. A receipt is a simple business communication that proves that a sale or transaction has been completed. Its purpose is to confirm what has been paid for an item or service and to state if there is a balance due or if the price has been paid in full. A receipt can prevent misunderstandings and can protect both parties should a dispute arise in the future. There is little brainstorming to do apart from providing complete information about the transaction. The sample to follow provides an organizational format you can adapt. Especially if you are handwriting a receipt for a one-off transaction, it's a good idea to ask your reader, the buyer, to look at the receipt and confirm its accuracy. Revise if there are any errors. Do date the receipt. Do include your name and contact information on the receipt. Do include the name of the payer on the receipt. Do specify exactly what has been paid. Break down the amounts into any relevant categories: cost of goods, labor charges, taxes, any discounts applied. Do, if there is a balance due, note it. If the amount is paid in full, note that fact on the receipt. Do, if there is a deadline for paying the balance due, state the deadline on the receipt. Do state what has been paid for. Include a detailed description including serial numbers if applicable. If there are any relevant exclusions, state them. Do state the billing period, if relevant, for instance for rent. Do note the method of payment: cash, check, money order, credit card. Note the number of the check or money order or the last 4 digits of the credit card used. If the payment is in cash, the receipt will be the only evidence of the transaction, so make sure that both parties agree it's accurate. Don't use the payer's full credit card number on the receipt. Don't take anything for granted. The point of writing a receipt is to provide an accurate and complete record of the transaction to both parties. Don't assume anyone will just remember the details. Write them out. Like this. Bill of sale for vehicle, without warranty. I, Dwayne Lafayette of 5978 Parkside Drive, certify I am the legal owner of the vehicle 2009 VW New Beetle, 2.5L PZEV, red, VIN I380K9LL572, and have the authority to sell it. I hereby acknowledge the receipt of $9,995 in the form of check number 776 from Tom Gutierrez as full payment for the purchase of said vehicle, as is. I hereby state that the mileage of the vehicle at the time of sale is 81,443. I do hereby grant, sell, and transfer ownership of this vehicle to the buyer. I certify that this vehicle at the time of sale is free from all encumbrances, taxes, fees, and liens, except for those specified on the title or listed below, and that I will be held fully responsible for such lawful claims and demands with respect to the vehicle, if any. Buyer accepts full liability for the vehicle, damages, and any third-party liability incurred from the vehicle use from the date of sale. Signed, Dwayne Lafayette, April 3, 2013. Signed, Tom Gutierrez, April 3, 2013. Rental receipt. August 25, 2012. I, Steve Ohanesian, do acknowledge receipt of $1,250 from tenant Julianne Chiang by cash as payment in full for rental 255 Ambrose Avenue, Unit 315, for the rental period of September 1st to October 1st, 2013. Community life. Editorial. There are two kinds of editorials. One presents the publication's official opinion about an issue and reflects the majority vote of the editorial board. The other, the guest editorial, is written by a contributor who is not on the publication's staff. Many publications invite guest writers, sometimes people with a particular expertise in the topic, to contribute editorials. Others accept submissions from the general public. Introduction. An editorial may have several purposes: to highlight a problem, to criticize the way that problem is currently being handled, or to argue in favor of a potential solution. In addition, some editorials praise government or other organizations for a job well done. As you write your editorial, it's helpful to imagine an intelligent, engaged reader who is undecided about the topic you're writing about. Treat your reader with respect, and try to imagine what information and arguments would be the most compelling from her point of view. A good approach is to brainstorm as much content as you can, then cull your strongest arguments from there. Editorials typically follow a standard organizational pattern that readers expect, consciously or otherwise. The model outline can help you organize your content. Plan to go through several drafts as you write your editorial. Show your drafts to others and ask them if your editorial makes sense and is persuasive. Especially when you're writing about something you have strong feelings about, it's important to get some distance and perspective. Use your readers' comments to help you revise your draft before you send it. Model outline. Space is typically extremely limited for an editorial, so you should keep yours as concise as possible. Opening. State the topic and provide timely context, some recent political decision or a recent event that brings the issue to the fore, for example. State your position on the question. Middle. Fairly state the opposing point of view and present your arguments against it. Conclusion. Finish your editorial with a punchy ending that restates your position and contains a call to action. Do be sure you understand the publication you're submitting to. Look at its editorial pages to get a sense of what it publishes and request guidelines for guest editorials. Do get your facts straight. Open your editorial with a fair statement of the current situation. Make sure your assessment is accurate and dispassionate. Don't distort the facts to your own advantage. Do state the opposition position fairly and unemotionally. Do select a strong argument to oppose. Present the opposition's strongest case and refute it. Although it may be tempting to offer up their weakest argument and then smash it like a bug, that tactic ultimately undermines your position. Do concede a valid point from the opposition. Acknowledging that the opposition may be partly right enhances your credibility. Just be sure you don't undermine your main argument. Do make sure you can state the point of your editorial in a single sentence. Having a clear and simple thesis is very important for an editorial, which is by definition brief and condensed. Do state your position firmly and clearly, not abusively. Do provide facts and evidence that support your position. Do end with a punch. Take some time to craft an ending that restates your position clearly and urges others to agree with you. Do keep it brief. You may have a word limit, but even if you don't, you'll get more readers if you keep your editorial brief and easy to read. Do choose a catchy title for your editorial. The publication may choose to retitle it, but try to come up with a title that will grab readers' attention. Do include some information about yourself if you have special expertise on the topic to enhance your credibility. Don't engage in name-calling or character assassination. It's poor argumentation, and it insults your readers' intelligence. Using personal abuse or other dirty tactics will make it easy for readers to dismiss your opinion. Don't rely on readers to know what abbreviations and acronyms mean. Define them. Don't drift off topic. You don't have much space to make your point, so it's especially important that you pick a thesis and stick to it. Don't use I. It's understood that the opinion is yours. Editorials written by the newspaper staff sometimes use we. Your argument will be stronger if you don't dilute it by saying, I believe. Not like this. Hunterville's retrograde, dim-witted city council has once again proven that it's on the wrong side of history and the wrong side of common sense by abolishing our very popular curbside recycling program. This is a little abusive. It's fine to take a strong position, but insulting the opposition won't win over anyone who is undecided, and it can make you look bad. Also, abolishing seems like an overstatement. The recycling program was so popular, in fact, it had real potential to become an income source for the city. After 4 years of strong promotion, the program enjoyed the support of an overwhelming majority of households in Huntersville. Our rate of participation was far above that of comparable communities nationwide. Some statistics would lend support to this contention. Experts predicted that the recycling program was on the cusp of turning the tide and generating income for Huntersville. How soon would this have happened? The city council claims to be interested in saving money, but it seems apparent that there must be some other agenda at work. What is Jean suggesting here? That the city council is taking bribes? If she wants to make that accusation, she should make it directly and offer evidence, rather than hinting around about it. Canceling a profitable program is no way to save money. This doesn't seem quite fair. Is the program really profitable now? Jean has just said the program was on the cusp of generating income. It's hard to follow her argument, and the lack of clarity might make some readers doubtful of her honesty. Jean Holder. Like this. Abandoning recycling, a costly decision for the city. The title is catchy and counterintuitive, making it intriguing for readers. The City Council made a short-sighted and fiscally irresponsible decision when it voted last week to suspend Huntersville's very popular curbside recycling program. Jean states her position clearly and firmly right at the beginning. We're all aware that budget shortfalls require the City Council to make some painful cuts in spending. Jean acknowledges that spending cuts are necessary in the city. Councilman Hernandez was correct when he stated that the recycling program was not profitable. Jean concedes an opposing position without compromising her own argument. In doing so, she enhances her credibility. What he neglected to mention, unfortunately, is that the recycling program was so popular it was on the cusp of actually becoming an income source for the city. After 4 years of promotion, the program had gained the participation of 67% of households in Huntersville, well above the national average of 38% participation in comparable communities nationwide. Experts predicted that the recycling program was only a year or two away from turning the tide and generating income for Huntersville. The statistics and estimates included here bolster Jean's case. The little money the City Council is saving this year would have been offset, and the city would have continued to enjoy the benefits of recycling. As it stands now, if the program is dismantled, it will likely take years to put it together again. In the meantime, untold quantities of recyclable paper, plastics, and metals will have been dumped into landfills, forever unavailable for use by future generations, and the city will have actually lost money. It's not too late to reverse this unfortunate decision. If citizens of Huntersville will call and email the City Council members, we can save our recycling program. Let's contact the City Council and urge them to reinstate the curbside recycling program for the sake of our current fiscal welfare and for the sake of our children's future. Jean Holder. The editorial concludes with a strong call to action. Letter to the Editor. You might write a letter to the editor of a publication in response to an editorial or other article, or to offer your opinion about current events. The Letters to the Editor section is one of the most widely read sections of the newspaper, so it provides a good forum for sharing your views. Letters to the editor are often submitted via email. Check with the publication in question for the best way to send yours. We will not be driven by fear into an age of unreason, if we remember that we are not descended from fearful men, not from men who feared to write, to speak, to associate, and to defend causes which were, for the moment, unpopular. Edward R. Murrow, journalist. Do write promptly if you're responding to an editorial or article in the publication. Editors often have very tight deadlines for letters such as these, and the window of opportunity closes quickly. Do check the publication's guidelines for letters to the editor. Your chances of getting published increase if you comply with the guidelines, and some publications won't even consider your letter if you don't. Do check other examples of letters to the editor in the publication to get an idea of appropriate style and content. Do keep it brief. The publication will very likely trim your draft anyway because of space restrictions. Your letter should be a maximum of 3 paragraphs, with 2 or 3 sentences per paragraph. Do, if you are responding to a recent news article or editorial, refer to it by date and headline. Do state your point early and clearly in the first sentence of your letter. Do stick to a single point. Remember that your letter may be cut dramatically. Focus on the single most important thing you really want to say. Do use facts and statistics to support your argument, if possible. Do mention any qualifications you have that give you special expertise about the topic. Do sign your letter and include your contact information. Publications rarely print anonymous letters. Don't argue from emotion. Even if the topic is something you feel passionate about, your argument will get more respect if it comes from reason rather than feelings. Don't be snarky or sarcastic. You may think that article was the dumbest thing you've ever read, but being snarky about it isn't going to convince anyone. Don't attack the author of the article or editorial you're responding to. Don't write too often. Serial letter writers are often regarded as cranks. Your chances of publication go up if you don't submit too often. Once every 3 months is a good outer limit. Like this. The Tribune's editorial, Time to Reconsider the Death Penalty, January 17th, completely misses the point made by the opponents of the death penalty, that it does not act as a deterrent to crime. There has never been a shred of credible evidence that the death penalty deters criminals, yet death penalty proponents continue to repeat this argument as though it were fact. It is not. The editorial also harps on the severity of the crimes committed by Mr. Gaynor and Mr. Olson. Presumably none of us endorses crime, and no one thinks criminals are doing right. Wallowing in the horror of the crime does not constitute an argument for killing the criminal. The wisdom and the morality of the death penalty in our society remains a topic of legitimate disagreement among concerned people. But death penalty proponents need to put forward factual and legitimate arguments if they wish to be taken seriously. Stephen J. Hintz. I disagree with Victor Tilden's position on the city's attempt to limit sugar. The nanny state rides again, June 24th. The term nanny state is nothing more than name-calling, and it begs an important question. Should the government concern itself with public health issues? If your answer is yes, and for most reasonable people it would be, then you need to address yourself to the real issues, the harm that sugary drinks are doing to the health of the population, and how we can act to prevent that harm. Simply stomping your feet and calling names suggests that maybe you do need a nanny to look after you. Denise Chen. For more sample letters to the editor, visit www.howtowriteanything.com. How to write an op-ed. If you've got an opinion that you want to send in to your local newspaper, blog, or other online site, first, the good news. We editorial page editors need good copy just the same as you need to get something off your chest. We may sound crusty on the phone or in an email, but it's the plain truth. We've got pages to fill, and our charge is to do so with interesting material, regardless of whether we agree with it or not. First, if you can write what you want to say in 200 words or so, just make it in the form of a letter to the editor. No shame in that. Especially if you're not one of the usual suspects. Smaller papers tend to get letters for publication from the same crowd of 20 or 30 people. Your opinion will be especially valued. If the subject is an upcoming election, just make sure you don't send it in 2 or 3 days before the vote and expect to see it published. Most of us have cut-off dates of the Saturday before the Tuesday election, as there would be no time for opposing views to respond otherwise. Write about an unusual topic of interest to you, and you will be almost certain to see it published. If you really need more space, drop a note to the opinion editor. Emails are better than phone calls, and say so. Gee, I've tried, but this really needs 400 words or so, and I was wondering if you could find the space. It's such an important issue to the community. Again, we always need well-written copy, particularly if it's local rather than the generic national or international ranting about something we all have heard before. Write tight. Don't use cliches. Kicking the can down the road again. That socialist/fascist president of ours. Impress the editor by knowing that op-ed means opposite editorial, not opinion editorial, which is the same thing said twice. Check your grammar and spelling thrice so that it can be copied and pasted into the system without too much trouble on the editor's part. Suggest, don't demand, a headline, and don't call it a title. Write in the body of an email, not in an attachment we may not be able to open, and not by snail mail, which must be re-keystroked. Be strong but fair in your opinion. Keep it light, even humorous, not bombastic. Be sure to sign your real name, address, phone number. You'll be a favorite around the editorial pages, and you'll see your thoughts in print very soon indeed. Lawrence Wilson writes a thrice-weekly column for the Pasadena Star-News and is a member of the editorial board for the Los Angeles News Group. Fundraising letter. A good fundraising letter can play a key role in any campaign for community-based organizations, schools, religious organizations, and other causes. Think of a fundraising letter as a kind of sales letter. The more convincingly you can sell your reader on your cause, the better results you'll get. Introduction. The purpose of a fundraising letter is to motivate readers to contribute money to a cause. Your reader may be someone who has donated in the past, someone who has never been solicited before, or somewhere in between those extremes. Whoever your reader is, people are rarely eager to part with their money, so you need to make a compelling case to motivate your reader to help. Brainstorm your content from your reader's point of view. What will make them feel good about giving? What benefits will they accrue? Organize your letter to hook your reader's attention early and sustain their interest. The model outline provides a structure you can adapt for your own letter. As you draft, try to maintain an enthusiastic tone without tipping over into hype. Don't worry if your first draft seems long. Unlike many forms of writing, fundraising letters can actually benefit from additional length. The longer you sustain your reader's attention, the more likely they are to make a donation. Take a break after you've written your first draft, review it with a fresh eye, and then revise accordingly. Does it hold your interest? If there are sections of the letter where your interest flags, tighten them up. Fill in missing information. Ask others to read it and give you their feedback. Model outline. A fundraising letter must grab the reader's attention and hold it. Opening. Hook your readers with a compelling story. Describe an acute need or a compelling fundraising activity or goal. State the need and ask your readers to make a donation. Middle. Describe the cause, the event you are organizing, and the benefits of supporting the cause. Suggest an amount or list amounts. Conclusion. Finish your message with a call to action, urging your reader to make a donation and thanking them for their support. P.S. Consider using a postscript to reinforce your message and repeat the call to action. Many readers will read the postscript first. Do know your readers. Have they donated in the past? Many organizations segment their mailings according to giving history and further segment according to how much people have given. Do thank people for prior donations. In letters to existing donors, show your appreciation. In letters to those who haven't previously contributed, show the difference that others' contributions are making. Do open your letter with a hook. Tell a compelling story of need or an inspiring success story. Do address the reader as you. Direct address involves the reader in your appeal. Do use short sentences and everyday conversational language. Your reader should feel as if you're talking to him. Do ask specifically for money. Many people are uncomfortable asking for money and will default to using a euphemism like support. Ask for money. Your cause is good, it needs money to succeed, and no one will be offended if you ask for what you need. Do ask for a specific amount, and don't be shy. Ask for a significant donation. You'd be surprised how often people say yes. And even if they contribute less than the suggested amount, they have still contributed. Do let your readers know what benefits their donations will provide. Be explicit about what the money will buy. People are more inclined to donate when they can connect a tangible benefit to their donation. Do create a sense of urgency. People will put off giving, so set a deadline. Natural deadlines include the end of a fiscal year, the deadline for a tax deduction, or the looming expiration of a matching grant. Also consider fundraising for a holiday or special event. Do use formatting to make your letter easy to scan. Readers aren't obliged to read this letter, so make it attractive. Bulleted lists and short paragraphs can make the letter easier to scan and help keep readers' attention longer. Use subheadings to break up a long letter. Do use a P.S. under your signature. Most readers are unlikely to read your entire letter, but a postscript will catch their attention. Include a call to action in your P.S. Do give readers specific instructions about how to make their donation. Depending on your method of delivery, provide them with a reply envelope and/or a link to a website where they can donate. Don't be shy. Your cause is a good one, otherwise you wouldn't be asking for support for it. Let your confidence in the cause shine out. Don't assume readers understand the benefits of a potential contribution. Let them know what their donations can buy and how they can make a difference. Don't hesitate to write a long letter. Readers are unlikely to read every word, so you don't need to worry about being concise. Use effective formatting so the readers can browse through and pick up your message more than once. Don't hype. A fundraising letter is a motivational message, but you shouldn't sound like a used car salesman. Let your sincere enthusiasm for the cause shine through, but don't go overboard. Don't use a lot of acronyms or abbreviations. Your letter should be as accessible as possible. Like this. Dear Mr. Smith, I'd like to introduce you to Tamra Sullivan, a senior graduating from Portland Independent School this June. Tamra's studies at Portland Independent would not have been possible without financial aid funded in large part by the generous support of gifts to the Portland Independent Annual Fund. Tamra attended public school through 6th grade. She was a bright student with an aptitude for science and a love of animals. A trip to the Bayside Aquarium introduced her to the world of marine biology, and her ambition was born. I love the ocean, Tamra says, and I'm fascinated with everything living in it. Tamra's father died when she was 8, and Tamra's mother, Heidi Sullivan, worked hard to support Tamra and her 2 younger sisters. I wanted Tamra to have the best possible preparation for college. I knew she would work hard wherever she went. We applied to Portland on a wing and a prayer. When the financial aid came through, it was like a miracle. Tamra has thrived at Portland. She has participated in Mr. Rose's field trip to the coastal islands every year, and this year she developed a mini course for the lower school called Oceans and the Life in Them. Next year, Tamra starts at the University of Southern California as a marine biology major. I was able to get into my first choice of college and pursue my dream because of scholarship at Portland Independent. Tamra's story is much like mine, and perhaps like yours too. I would not have been able to study at Portland Independent without financial aid and scholarships. The funding I received opened the doors to learning for me, as it did for Tamra and many other students. Today, I am thrilled to be able to open those same doors for a new generation of Portland Independent students through my gifts every year to the annual fund. My support, and yours, goes directly to financial aid. Gifts to the annual fund help to ensure that the school continues to attract and support students like Tamra. Please show your support with a gift of $100 today. Thank you in advance for your gift to the Portland Independent Annual Fund. We're deeply grateful for your support. Signed, Lisa Monroe Wilson. Lisa Monroe Wilson, 74, President, Portland Independent Alumni Association. P.S. You can make your gift to the Portland Independent Annual Fund by using the enclosed envelope or by visiting our secure giving site at www.giving.portlandindependent.org. Appeal for volunteers. Community organizations of all kinds organize volunteers, and many people are more than willing to donate their time for a good cause. An effective letter or email can inspire volunteers to come out and lend a hand. Introduction. An appeal for volunteers is really a kind of sales pitch. Its purpose is to motivate readers to share their time and energy in a situation in which they don't have to. Accordingly, you'll want to make your recruitment appeal inspiring and attractive. Depending on the cause you're writing for, your readers may or may not be interested already. If you're writing to people for the first time for a cause they don't know about, You'll have to work that much harder to motivate them. On the other hand, if you're writing to an established group, they might think you already have enough volunteers. Think hard from your reader's point of view and develop a pitch you think will motivate them. Brainstorm about the benefits, not just for the cause, but also for the prospective volunteers. Will you raise needed funds for the school? Great! Can your volunteers have fun and meet new friends in the process? Even better. The model outline provides an organizational structure you can use. Use a friendly tone as you draft. Your initial draft will likely be too long. Remember that people are not obliged to read your letter, so make it as concise as you can. Take a break after you write your first draft and show it to someone for feedback. Revise your letter to make sure it's as engaging and compelling as possible. Model outline. An appeal for volunteers should be brief. Opening. Identify yourself, let your readers know why you're writing, and ask explicitly for their help. Middle. Your middle paragraphs outline the volunteer opportunities, what's expected of volunteers, and how these activities can benefit the cause and the volunteers themselves. Conclusion. Finish your appeal by thanking your readers and asking again for their participation. Be sure you provide your contact information at the end of your appeal. Do introduce yourself. You're initiating a cooperative relationship with readers who may not know you, so make a personal introduction. Do, if you're writing to a group of people who have volunteered in the past, thank them for their service and let them know their efforts have benefited the cause. Do use a friendly, upbeat tone. You're trying to motivate people to do something they don't have to do, so your letter should be as encouraging and welcoming as possible. Do be clear about who or what will benefit from volunteers' efforts. Will students enjoy a better organized library? Does the sports team need new equipment? Will the neighborhood enjoy a spruced-up park? Let volunteers know exactly why their efforts are needed. Do be explicit about what you're asking for. Baked goods for the sale? People to work in the booth or make phone calls? Gardening, cleaning, other heavy lifting? Or are you asking people to contribute ideas and work together on a committee? Do be clear about how much time you're asking for. If you're organizing an event, give the exact times of the event and the times you'll need the volunteers to be present. If you're organizing a committee, let potential volunteers know how often you plan to meet, for how long, and if any additional participation will be expected. Do mention that the activity will be enjoyable and rewarding for volunteers. A community garden cleanup can mean fun in the fresh air. Working on a committee can be an opportunity to meet and network with people who have similar interests. There's nothing wrong with appealing to volunteers' self-interests in soliciting their help. Do let readers know if you're going to provide refreshments. There's nothing like a little free food to bring people out in droves. On a more serious note, it also helps readers plan their time if they know they can count on lunch or a bite to eat during the time they're spending with you. Do list a variety of different opportunities for volunteers to help. Do highlight past successes of similar volunteer efforts. For instance, last year we were able to raise enough money to fund second-grade field trips to the Children's Museum and the aquarium. If your goals are similar or higher this year, say so. Do consider including some testimonials from previous volunteers about how enjoyable, rewarding, and productive the volunteer opportunity was. Do be sure to thank potential volunteers for their support even before they say yes. Do use formatting to make the letter easy to scan and absorb. Break up long paragraphs into shorter ones and create numbered or bulleted lists where appropriate. Do make your next steps clear. If you'd like potential volunteers to contact you, make your phone number or email address easy to find. Don't assume that people will agree to help just because it's the right thing to do. Your letter must motivate them to want to help. Don't take your volunteers for granted. Be sure to show your gratitude for their attention and efforts. Don't use guilt to motivate readers. There may be a fine line between inflicting guilt and urging people to take responsibility, but if you cross that line, you'll alienate readers. Don't write your letter before you're sure what you're asking for. A vague appeal for help won't likely get any responses. If you're still trying to figure out the best thing to do, ask for volunteers for an exploratory committee. Don't go on too long. Your potential volunteers are busy, so don't expect them to read a long, too specific letter. Even if the letter comes from their child's school, readers are likely to regard your letter as a form of junk mail and will be inclined to recycle it rather than reading it. An initial letter should pique readers' interests and motivate them to learn more. Don't use long block paragraphs. Readers won't read them. Don't over-format your letter with too many different fonts or too much bold and italics. By all means, use formatting to make your text more accessible, but don't let it get messy. Like this. Dear neighbors, my name is Fiona Gorman, and my husband Mike and I live at 1564 Falstaff Road, the Spanish house with the rose garden in front. I'm writing today because I'm hoping to organize a group of neighbors this coming Saturday to help clean up Madison Park. Fiona introduces herself and provides a context in which readers might know her. Also, Fiona lets people know why she's writing early in the letter. As you know, the park had a lot of damage in the recent windstorm. The city has removed the downed power line and the big branches, but there's still a lot of cleanup to do, and the city won't get to it for several months. I figure if enough of us turn up, we can make the park usable again in a couple of hours. Fiona explains the need for volunteer effort. The task seems reasonable and palatable. Let's meet at the park on Saturday at 12:30 p.m. Mike and I will bring some lawn bags. Please bring whatever tools you might have. A few things we might do. Rake up small branches, twigs, and leaves. Repair the broken fencing along Madison Drive. Repair the slide, if possible. Clean up the wading pool and get it ready for the season. It's helpful to outline exactly what the volunteers will be doing, so people know what they're getting into. If we all lend a hand, we can get the park ready to use for spring and summer. That's a nice little incentive. Mike and I would like to invite you back to our place at 5:30 for margaritas and snacks. Free snacks? Free drinks? I'm there. If you'd like to join us, please give me a call at 555-123-4567 so we know how much tequila to buy. Hope to see you Saturday. All the best. Fiona Gorman. Fiona's letter is friendly and engaging. She makes the task sound enjoyable and lets readers know the benefits of participating.